So I just want to say I absolutely hate the new home field advantages added in Madden 22. What's going on, Yeet Nation? We're in the deep end diving into some Madden 22 news. I don't typically do this type of stuff, but when I feel strongly about the topic, I feel like I need to put my opinion out there and see what the community thinks. And home field advantages, I hate that because typically when you play a Madden game, especially in something like Ultimate Team, and you load up into a weekend league game, you got to play against 11 guys on the opposite side, right? You got to play against the user. And sometimes we got to play against EA, fumbles, dropped interceptions, dropped catches, block sheds, all that good stuff. And now they're adding a different variable into the game that you have to circumvent and go around for no reason. It's a coin flip, whether you get home or away. And it's incredibly stupid, in my opinion, that you have to play against another variable for no reason. And I think it's incredibly stupid that you get an extra variable for no reason. Games are no longer going to start 0-0 because you as the away team have to overcome a different obstacle that the home team doesn't. I understand there's home field advantages, but that's not something you want to add in an Ultimate Team type of game because it's frustrating to go against. It's unhealthy for the game, especially with some specific home field advantages paired up with specific abilities that could really make unhealthy metas that we're going to be completely seeing over and over and over again. This is something like bunch tight end, bunch 3-3-5 wide, something like this. Now you're going to see the same home field advantages because, with that paired with specific abilities that'll go over, it could be pretty frustrating to go against. So right now I got the Falcons on my monitor to my right. I'll be looking at that and then trying to look at the camera as much as possible. If I don't, I'm sorry. But right now, the home field advantage for them is home teams get a flat amount of momentum per offensive play. We're going to be going back and forth on home field advantages because some of them are going to be the same as others, yet better. And I think you would rather use that one than this one. Of course, when we get there, I'll mention it, but this isn't too bad on every offensive play. I'd rather them have to blow a 25-point lead every single time they do, but hey, we'll settle for this. So the Cowboys happen to win the award for the stupidest home field advantage possible. I know they have a big screen and sometimes the punter hits it. You get a cool clip of it for Twitter. After that, everybody moves on. I think they could have done a much better job on picking the ability for the Cowboys. I'm not even going to go over it. No one's going to use it. Unless you have a theme team and you really want to use the Cowboys Stadium, no one's going to use this. Now, for the Eagles, the winning team, the home team gains more momentum and the away team gains less. We'll talk about this a little bit more later. I think this is stupid and it makes it difficult to make comebacks in a game because you have more hurdles to go against. I don't like this at all. Therefore, this is the strongest or one of the strongest abilities in the game or home field advantages in the game because away players fatigue faster. Now, of course, we had a huge problem with this with one step ahead and bench press. And now fatigue, if you use the MetLife Stadium turf that happened to take out almost everybody on the Niners, they get tired faster. And then, a tired player, put deflator on the defense. Boom. Now you're going to force more fumbles. Put zone chuck or bench press on the corners. Boom. Nobody's getting open. And now you're going to have a rotational of players. And when you're playing like this in the beginning of the year, you don't necessarily have 99s on deck that you could just cycle through them. And especially if one of the wide receiver has abilities and he's fatigued, he's not going to hit the thresholds for the abilities to activate. I think this is incredibly unhealthy for the game. This is going to result in less wide receivers getting open, more fumbles, everybody's tired, and then, if you get a fumble 6 happen for you, it's not exactly like you can just replenish everybody's stamina. They're going to be even more tired and making it that you cannot progress the football. I can't stand this ability. I think it's terrible. Away team has an increasingly hard time chasing directions. Now this is going to be wishy-washy depending on how much change of direction they lose. Because say they have 85 change of direction and then you go against an unstable ground. With the Niners and the Washington football team both have this ability. Say it lowers them to like 84 or 82 or even less, then they lose a different threshold. And if you're used to a specific cut, specific movement, and you don't get that anymore, then it could make the game clunkier and make it so either A, you're missing your holes, you're gap shooting incorrectly, you're unable to use her on defense differently, of course can't get sticky with it, all that good stuff. I'm curious to know how much change of direction it takes off and how it will affect the game. But again, I don't like it at all. Now, the home team gains more momentum and away team gains less. So you basically have the Eagles' momentum And you don't need to be winning for it because, of course, this doesn't mention you need to be winning. And now away teams fatigue faster and has a harder time changing direction. So you have the MetLife ability, right? And now you have the Washington football team ability and a better version of the Eagles ability, all in one momentum. That's incredibly broken. So now all I got to do is just put some deflators, some zone chucks, some bench press, and now there's nothing the opponent can do. He's not moving the ball on me, and now I'm moving the ball on him, and I have better change of direction than him. I can make more ability plays. I can make more plays happen. I can score more points. Opponent has no chance. All I got to do is just put the Packers home field for me. For the Vikings, home team gets a small amount of speed in the red zone. This one probably won't be too bad. I feel like the only time you'll really notice a difference is when you're reaching for that pylon, unable to make that cut for the first 10 plays before you get to the red zone, and all of a sudden in the red zone, you're able to make that cut corner into the end zone. It probably won't be that game breaking. I doubt too many people use it as an actual home field. Motor City home team accelerates slightly faster. When Barry Sanders comes out, you'll be seeing people use this. Other than that, I don't think too much. Bear down, nobody will be using this. Away team kick meter moves slightly faster. Everybody's got abilities on the kicker. It won't make a big deal. Red Sea rise up. Home team gains momentum faster. I mean, you could just use the Falcons and you'll get per offensive play. Or you could use the Packers and get more per play, and the opponent team won't gain any. Plus, you get the change of direction and fatigue boost. No reason to use this because you can use better ones. Rams house, home team gets bonus momentum for defensive stops. Again, why use this one? Because you could just use other ones where all you have to do is just score play or score offensive plays, positive offensive plays. Like the Packers, you could use that one. It's just a rinse and repeat type of argument where you don't really need to use this. I could just go home team gains momentum faster, use that one. I don't need to make plays on defense. And then let me go all the way down to the Packers where home team gains more momentum and away team gets less. Now I don't even have to make defensive stops. I could just do something good on offense and I get that. There's no real reason to use the Rams stadium anymore or the Cardinals. I just disagree with their logic on this. Unstable ground for the Niners. Again, there's no reason to use this. You can just use the Packers because you get this and more. The 12, this one's more annoying than actual frustrating. When you call a play, you already know how the routes are going to go. Unless you're, ass Madden just calling something random, this is going to be more annoying than actual game breaking. Offensive audibles made by away team have a chance to fail. So this is worded very vaguely, and I'm curious to know, is it hot routes on the offensive side or is it plays? Or switching formations that fail, because obviously all that matters, right? It could be everything. It could be a specific one. It could be none of them. We're not entirely sure. But this one could be more annoying than frustrating, or more annoying than game breaking, because you know how sometimes you call a play, right? And even if you don't have chew clock on, you can still get that chew clock animation where you automatically line up with 15 seconds left, and you can make one audible and it could fail if this is what it's talking about. And then you have to make it again. And you can't make two audibles at the same time. You have to wait a period of time until you can start making the second, third, fourth. And all of a sudden you just don't have enough time left on the clock. It's more annoying than actual game breaking. It can be game breaking at times. Bolt up, home team gains bonus momentum for yardage gains. Again, if you use the Falcons, you can get one for every offensive play, or you can use the Packers and get that for just positive plays, and then all of a sudden the opponent gets less. Or you could use the Cardinals, all the same thing. Or you could use the Rams, again, same thing. Just win, baby. Home team gains momentum faster and increases fatigue recovery while winning. So now this one is better than the previous one and the previous other one with the Cardinals and the Falcons, and you have increased fatigue recovery. Again, this isn't bad, except the Packers one is better because I would rather the opponent lose fatigue faster than me gaining fatigue, if that makes sense. My high, away teams players have left stamina during play. So this one, I'm curious to see how they implement it, because say you have zone chuck, bench press, deflator, does that affect the stamina while happening in play? And then does that continue on for next play, or does that just refresh and then you're good? I'm not exactly sure on the wording. It's very vague. I'm curious to see how it is actually implemented, because I would just rather it not being implemented in general, if I could be completely honest. Duval for the Jaguars, home team gains bonus momentum on touchdowns. Again, I don't know why you'd use this, because you could use the Falcons where you gain momentum on offensive plays gained, Cardinals, Packers, it's so on and so forth. It's a recycled argument at this point. Home team defense can see the hat count on all plays via coach cam. I honestly don't know what this means. It sounds terrifying though. Bullpen, away team gains less momentum for touchdowns, or you can just not allow touchdowns. Again, I wouldn't use this. Tighten up, home team will avoid committing holding penalties. So this is good news and bad news, right? And good news for me is it sounds like if it's worded properly, this is more of a franchise type thing, because we've never seen holding penalties get implemented in Ultimate Team. We've seen the illegal man downfield on RPOs, which is potentially logical. It happens a whole lot less this year. But this is also bad because say it does get implemented in Ultimate Team, that means they want to add holding penalties in Ultimate Team, which is incredibly frustrating and really stupid in my opinion. Now that's another variable you have to work against, because you could throw a 50-yard bomb, boom, going back from a holding play. You can break a long touchdown on a run, boom, going back, holding play. I think that's really stupid if they add holding penalties into the game, because it's just a variable that you can't control. Like, that's an offensive lineman. You can't control what he does, and it's so stupid if they actually add this. Dog pound. Away team hot routes have a chance to fail in the red zone, requiring them to be made again. So in the red zone, you could do an audible or a hot route. It says hot route in the description, and then it won't work. But for the Chiefs, it says an offensive audible might not work. And that one works for the whole field, not necessarily just the red zone, which makes me think for the Chiefs, it's an actual audible between plays and not necessarily hot routes. Because why would you use dog pound instead of the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs happens for the whole duration of the field, not just the red zone. So I'm assuming the Chiefs is just for the plays, and then Browns specific hot routes. And this one's also kind of just more annoying than an actual game breaker, because I mean, if you got to audible twice to get the result of one, it's just going to consume a lot of the play clock. Trust the system, home team gets bonus momentum while running. I mean, I guess I don't see people actually using this because you have to do it every running play while winning. But on the Falcons, I think you just have to have a positive gain and then per play. And then for the Chargers, you just have to have the positive gain. Again, this is a inferior home field advantage compared to everyone else. Terribly distracted, away team hot routes have a chance to fail on 3rd and 4th down. So also, just like the dog pound one, I'm curious to know if it works the same as the Chiefs, because if so, the Chiefs happens for the whole duration of the field, not just in the red zone, and 3rd and 4th down. But if I am correct where the Chiefs is just plays, then I would rather use the Steelers over the Browns, because then you get the duration of that for the whole field, but only on 3rd and 4th down. But that's more likely than them getting into the red zone, in my opinion. Who day, no huddle results in reduced time off the clock. But if that happens, you're probably screwed anyway, because chances are they're using an ability where you gain less momentum. They already have a bunch of momentum. You're probably not going to make that comeback. John Wind, away team kicking arc is harder to control. Chances are they got abilities on the kicker. They'll be fine. Made in the shade, home team fatigues slower. Just like in the other ones, I would rather use one that causes the away team to fatigue faster than me recover slower. So the Raiders, I would rather use the Raiders than the Dolphins, but I would rather use something like the Packers or the Giants before I use one of this. Turf War, just like, hey, this is a MetLife one, away team fatigues faster. I think it's incredibly broken. Already talked about it. Our house home team gains bonus momentum on touchdowns and 3rd down stops. So this one's like having the Rams and a Jaguars in one. I don't know why you'd either use either of them, because you could just use the Patriots. I wouldn't use either of them anyway, because you could use other ones that give you more momentum. Again, it's another gimmick that I wouldn't add into the game. Fire the cannons. Home team players have their fatigue temporarily replenished while in the red zone. Chances are, well, on offense, you don't really have too much fatigue problems, especially if you're cycling players properly, unless you're going against a home field advantage that has fatigue issues. But then again, you wouldn't have that ability if that were the case. I wouldn't use this, because you could use the Raiders, who have the ones that replenish while winning. And of course, theirs has an inert extra ability after that. Again, Buccaneers wouldn't use it. Doesn't make sense. Who dat? Away teams on 3rd and 4th down conversion attempts on a random receiver will have an incorrect route when he lines up pre-play. This one could be very game breaking because if you have a route that cannot be hot route mastered, and people don't have hot route mastered in the beginning of the game. This is kind of like an end game type thing of hot route master, gunslinger, and all that stuff. But if you have a route on the field that can't be hot routed, especially not hot route mastered, then you are setting yourself up to fail because now you can't put all those route combinations that you wanted onto the field. And every single time there's kind of a unique route that you can't necessarily hot route or hot route master, it's usually a very good route. It's not the case for everything, but usually it means that route you kind of want to build your offense around that. Like on pistol spread, we have our motion flat. Say that motion flat, all of a sudden I can't use that because it's on a different route. I can't hot route a motion flat, and that makes it so I kind of set myself up to fail now. I think this is an incredibly bad game-breaking ability. And then keep pounding. Home team has more stamina during plays. That means I could just juke and spin move a couple more. Useless, wouldn't use it. And then now we're back to the Falcons. That's going to have to wrap up this. I'm incredibly frustrated, but of course, if you agree, disagree, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more content such as this. Of course, I really hope they do not add these type of home field advantages in Ultimate Team. I think this would be a great franchise edition because it feels like you're playing the same team over and over again. The only thing that changes is the logos and the name on the back. But other than that, good luck, everybody.